Edgar from Snug Wrestling. What is the percent out of 100 that Bayley will not retain her women's championship?
Easy, 0. There's no way
Oh,
Bayley is dropping that thing. She has to win, right?
you would think, but zero is, saying with your chest for sure. But I'll go 5% that Piper Niven would win. But there's not real much juice here. The story kind of feels microwaved in a bit to kind of getting us here. And I personally think that Chelsea Green is like the star of this whole thing. Even though I don't mind Niven and I don't mind Bayley, I just think Green is the star of all of this. And I think it's actually kind of a prelude to perhaps the Miss Money in the Bank, Chelsea Green. But anyways, we're in Scotland. Bayley's going to defend her WWE Women's title against Piper Niven, and Bayley is going to win. How excited are you for this match, Edgar?
A lot more excited than I thought. Especially after watching Friday Night SmackDown, this past SmackDown. The segment that Bayley and Piper Niven had was a lot more interesting than I expected. Piper Niven got the opportunity to put herself over in a big way.
Yep.
Bayley also did a good job of putting her over as like, hey, you are this person, and listed all her accolades like a baby face usually does. You
Yep.
did this, you did that, before you came to the WWE, so I learned a lot about Piper Niven, and I really liked how she put herself over, and they did a really good job of hyping up Piper Niven as like this big threat and an actual competitor. So I'm actually a lot more excited for this match than I thought, to be honest.
Yeah, so back in 2017, I believe it was, or even 2018, Piper was signed in 2017, but she was rolled out for the Mae Young Classic in 2018, and that's what Bailey's alluding to, sitting front row for that. Back in 2017 is probably the peak of her potential in her popularity in her hometown of Scotland in England, where she was just like this ascending star, and she was pretty big on an independent scene or for companies in that area. And you could kind of look at it, 6, 7, 8 years later here in the WWE and think that it's somewhat disappointing. She's a heavy for Chelsea Green, who is a comedy act. She won the tag team belts a few times. She was dewdrop for 6 or 7 months, which was, I don't know, low-key okay in my opinion. But overall, it wasn't
Yeah.
meant to be flattering for her, right? It was meant to be a comedy act or menacing or whatever it was. And then, but really, if you take a look at her NXT UK resume, she has quite a few very good matches, including the Mae Young Classic. So if
Yeah.
Bayley wants to hearken on early Piper Niven and be like, I know that is in you, and
Yeah.
despite of all the hiccups that the broad SmackDown and Raw audience would see of Piper, because the percentage that saw the stuff that we were just talking about is probably very
Yeah.
slim, right? So
Oh yeah.
Bayley's doing a pretty good job of painting a picture of Piper Niven to being a threat. Hopefully, this is step one of getting Piper Niven to where she should be to live up to her 2017 persona and potential, perhaps.
Exactly.
Or or perhaps this is just a way to microwave her for her to take the L in her own home country. I still think the moment for her is the entrance to get the reception, and then after that,
Mhm.
I'm a little bit worried about the match because, like you said earlier, babyface Bayley in heel Piper Niven in Piper Niven's babyface hometown. Where's does the
Yeah.
reaction lie? They're both going to get big pops, but once they get those big pops, or is the balloon going to kind of deflate for the match once the bell rings? That's my only concern for these two here. So I don't know. What do you think
Yeah.
of Piper Niven? Do you think she has a big upside, or do you think this is just kind of it?
That's a good question. So when we started off the cold question, I said 0% because I'm not familiar with Piper Niven before the WWE.
Yep.
She has a great resume that I learned recently. I just wish that the WWE put more focus on that ahead of this, big match to get us more familiar with who Piper Niven actually is. Because when she came into the WWE, she came in as Dewdrop. And that is such like a big like Vince McMahon type gimmick, I feel like.
Yeah.
Now that Vince McMahon is gone, it seems like we're starting to learn who Piper Niven actually is. And when she was, putting herself over, saying all these things, I did this, I did that. And before she even showed up to the WWE, she told Bayley, I've been winning these championships for a long time. And I'm just like, I just wish that we would have gotten that version of Piper Niven a long time ago. If, we knew that this match was going to happen, why not let her cut a promo instead of the Friday night SmackDown the day, 1 or 2 days before the pay-per-view? Why not do it a week or a week before that? And maybe my mind would have changed it by Piper Niven instead of saying, oh, there's no way that Bayley is going to lose to Piper Niven. 0%. No way in hell. I probably would have been like, okay, maybe there's a possibility that this athlete, Piper Niven, is actually going to win. My thoughts about Piper Niven right now is, like I said, I don't think she has a chance. It's a good story, the much bigger heel that Piper Niven is versus Bayley, kind of going back to like typical David versus Goliath,
Yep.
Yokozuna going up against like a Bret Hart type
Yep. Great.
thing,
Great comparison.
I'm glad that Piper Niven is getting the time of day now. And hopefully they keep that thing going. Hopefully they keep building her up, kind of like a Nia Jax.
Yeah.
Nia Jax, Queen of the Ring, a real threat now. So I want to see her get more attention and get built up more. And hopefully this is just the beginning for Piper Niven.
Yeah, I think they're kind of getting there, hopefully. Edgar, before we get out of here, why don't you give us a little shout about Snug Wrestling? I know today on release, you had a release with our good friend here on the North South Connection, Richie Mars, yesterday's previewer. And why don't you tell us what you got going on with Snug? I know I was on an episode recently also, so I want to put that over as well. So the floor is yours to tell us about Snug Wrestling.
Appreciate that, Ryan. Yes. So my channel, I like to have guests on my show like yourself, Ryan. You were on my show. I think it was like last month, and hopefully you can come back again. My latest episode that's going to be coming out tomorrow is with Richie Mars, where we talked about Andrade's booking in the WWE, which has been atrocious, unfortunately, right now.
Or
And
absent.
kind of like, what can the WWE do to improve Andrade? We talked about Ricky Starks, and also the one of the topics that we also went over was the I believe it was the WCW Who Killed WCW documentary.
We did
So
that one, yeah.
whatever like the most latest recent wrestling news, that's what I like to talk about mostly. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Whatever's going on in wrestling, the latest in wrestling news, drama, gossip. Today after this, actually, I'm going to be doing a show with Too Tall Tyler 40 50 44, I believe he goes by on TikTok. And we're going to be talking about Ricochet, how he's supposedly leaving the WWE, as well as some other hot topics. So yeah, that's pretty much what I've been up to lately.
Yep, current day stuff. I love it, Edgar. All right, let's give these girls their flowers before we go. All right, so we think Bayley's gonna win. I would say a 5% chance. Do a thing and give the win to Piper Niven and shock the world in her home country. I think Bayley's going to win and continue her title reign, which is kind of flat in my opinion a little bit. And I think Chelsea Green is your Miss Money in the Bank, and she wins it like Carmella and goes on a little tiny run, not crazy or whatever, and she kind of wins it. And Piper Niven is her James Ellsworth, but in a more of a Diesel Shawn Michaels kind of role, not really in a goofy kind of role, even though Chelsea Green is extremely goofy. But yeah, I think
Yeah.
Chelsea Green is kind of the star of this build so far. But I think not only because it's in Scotland are they teaming up, but also because I think it's leading to Chelsea Green in a big push for her. And that's kind of
Mm.
why I think this match is happening also. So that's my 2 cents at the end of this preview.
That's a good prediction. Yeah, Chelsea Green, she's definitely like a really good chicken shit heel, and
Yep.
Piper Niven being like the, like the force that protects her. So
Yeah.
it's a they complement each other so well. So we'll see what happens. I'm excited about the match. I'm definitely going to be looking forward to it. So it's going to be fun to watch.
Yep. Good stuff. Just like your pods and videos are fun to watch. So check them out, guys. And Edgar, we'll see you on the next one, buddy.
Thanks, Ryan, and hopefully we'll see you soon over at Snug Wrestling again.
For sure. Just let me know when, pal.